Thank you for swinging by Wedding Pros I Know. Anything from marketing to client management, we are here to help your wedding service business grow. Whether you are a photographer or a wedding planner, we will give you the tips and tricks you need to know to help your business prosper. What is going on, guys? Welcome to your favorite wedding professional podcast. The podcast is called Wedding Pros I Know with Dustin, McGee. Now, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I have so much to talk about during this series of Wedding Pros I Know. Let me give you a little background on myself, and then we'll go into my business, and then we'll go into kind of what I want to talk about in this podcast and the kind of things you're going to learn about it. As I said, my name is Dustin McGee. You can find me on any of the social platforms, Dustin L. McGee. Now, the reason why I put that out there is I want everybody to follow me. I want everybody to know me, and I want to help as many people as possible. And by doing that, it's really easy to do that nowadays with the social media. But anyways, with that being said, any of the platforms, Dustin L. McGee, you can find me on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and then YouTube is just Dustin McGee. Check that out. Let's talk about YouTube real quick. Not only am I filming this via audio, but you can follow me on YouTube if you want to watch the actual visual and not just hear the audio. I will be on that platform. Again, it is Dustin McGee. You can follow me on there. I know YouTube is great because YouTube Red, and this is not a paid sponsorship for YouTube Red, but I personally have YouTube Red, and I enjoy watching videos now using my account because I can close the screen or close the app and continue listening to the audio. So I know that is a great feature that YouTube Red offers. If you don't have that, you might want to check it out. But let me kind of discuss again myself. I know I already mentioned, I'm not trying to repeat myself, but Dustin McGee. I started my company called Pyrotechniques about 5 years ago. We're coming up on 5 years now. Right now, before that, I worked for some professional companies doing firework displays, concerts, large outdoor displays, stuff like that. And then prior to that, my background started in rocketry. I started with rocketry almost like if you guys have seen the movie October Sky. I actually that was like my favorite movie. Kind of still is my favorite movie right now. But I like to build rockets. I started with building my own rockets and buying the little Estes rocket motors, and kind of got bored because they didn't go as high as I wanted. So then I got into how like the mixtures were mixed for making black powder and all that kind of stuff, like the chemical side of things. So I actually got into making my own rocket motors, and they got bigger and bigger, and the rockets went higher and higher. But as the rocket motors got bigger, so did the explosions. So I kind of kept failing at blowing things up. Honestly, I kept blowing rockets up, and when that kind of sparked an interest in the firework industry. I've always had the interest in fireworks and how all this stuff works. So I started studying that. I studied how to make my own like stars, like how the colors changed and different chemicals. I started with all that and actually building my own shells, not necessarily illegally, but not also it wasn't regulated. So I don't recommend doing that unless you are a trained professional and you are following within the guidelines of, all the fancy codes. But after that, like I said, started with rocketry, then it went to fireworks, and then I got hired on with some professional companies. We did tours, we did fireworks shows, large outdoor displays. We did a lot of cool stuff, but I kind of wanted to go the entrepreneur route, and I've always been wanting to do entrepreneurship, and that kind of sparked the idea of starting up my own firework company. It's probably one of the hardest industries to start, quite honestly. I'm not trying to not necessarily brag or stomp on other companies, but I would say a firework company is probably one of the hardest to start, just with the insurance side of things, the liability, the there's a lot that goes into it, and we can discuss that later on in the future. But as of right now, I just wanted to kind of give you background about myself, and kind of why I got into fireworks, and kind of really just give you a background of myself to put into perspective on who Pyrotechnics is, and that kind of sets me up to my next point of what is my company. My company is called Pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics, like I said, I started it 5 years ago, or coming up on 5 years, which I know a lot of businesses, the 5 year mark is a big mark, because I think it's like 80 or 85 or 90% of businesses fail before 5 years. I believe that's a pretty solid fact. I don't think it's underestimated or overestimated. I think it's a pretty solid, what is it called? Pretty solid. What is that word called? I guess fact, assumption, something like that. But so yeah, I started that 5 years ago, and Pyrotechnics, we do anything from fireworks to special effects, low-lying fog, confetti, sparklers. We do also, not just in the wedding industry, we do it everywhere. Event fireworks, concerts, anything you can imagine, professional events, anything that you could think needs some kind of extra magic. That is pretty much what we do. We will come in there and we will figure out exactly what your needs are, and we will make it work. And so this podcast is going to be directed towards the wedding industry. As we get into the next step of what I want you guys to get from this, before closing out what Pyrotechnics is, we are fully licensed and insured. Any of the advice that I give you will be strictly kind of wedding related, but if you are interested in our services, you can find us at www.pyrotechniques.com. I will leave a link in the description as well if you want to check us out. But that's pretty much who Pyrotechniques is, what we do. Our favorite things to do is weddings. We do a lot of weddings. As each year goes by, or even each 6 months go by, we really grow and grow and grow with the wedding industry. And I know that's where my heart is right now, because there's a great profit margin in weddings. I know our team members love weddings. They're easy to set up, and they are, I don't know, it's just the feeling you get. I think all of our team members can agree that doing a wedding display is probably the best display we can ever do. We still love our outdoor shows for events and stuff like that, non-wedding related, but we really enjoy the wedding industry, and it's definitely where I want to stay. With that being said, let's move on to what I want you guys to get from this podcast. What can you expect? And kind of just to get the little general gist of things of how everything's going to work with this podcast. Now, as I said before, the podcast is called Wedding Pros I Know. And the reason I chose that is because I actually know a lot of wedding professionals. Looking back and thinking about it, you kind of take for granted of who you know, and those people can really help you grow your business. So it's always best to reach out to these people for information, and I've been doing that. And the idea was, why am I not recording some of this? Because there's so much information that I'm losing if I just have a meeting with somebody, and then I'll lose that information. So the best way to capture that is to record it. And what's the best way to record it? I mean, podcasts. So I started this podcast. We'll see where it goes. Like I said, we are going to be discussing primarily weddings, the wedding industry. There'll be from time to time when I bring on guests that are very interested or very knowledgeable in the marketing side or the business side of things, because every business needs to know that kind of stuff. So, and I guess that's with that being said, this wedding podcast is not strictly just for wedding vendors and wedding services, but it's really for everybody that wants to get into business. Hopefully all these businesses can learn something from it, but primarily it's going to be for wedding professionals. Hopefully you guys obtain as much information. I know I am super stoked because I have a lot of people lined up to sit down and discuss things and how they do things, and I'm super excited because it's going to give me an opportunity to grow our business and to kind of, really learn a lot. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are as well. So the podcast, I do have a plan to release about a podcast every week. If I don't stay true to that schedule, please don't get upset. But I'm trying to. I don't know if I'm going to do it in seasons. Kind of have a bankroll of all the seasons ready to go, and then I'll release one a week for 9 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever. And then we'll redo that schedule every couple months. I don't know how it's going to work, but all I know is this is a learning curve for me. I've never done a podcast, so hopefully you guys can not necessarily bear with me, but kind of if you see something that I should change, feel free to message me. Like, I'm not opposed to criticism. Yeah, that didn't make sense. I'm not opposed to criticism and to learn what I'm doing wrong. That's the best way to grow as a person, is to have your needs, your what is it called? Have your flaws pointed out. I know not all flaws you can fix, but I kind of, if there's something wrong with the audio, if there's something wrong with the video, or if it's the way I'm speaking, then you can let me know. But if it's me personally, if you don't like me, then that's fine. Find a new podcast. That's kind of how I think. I'm not going to change myself to accommodate to my viewers. I mean, if you like me, you're going to like me for who I am. That's the one thing I won't change. But anything else, with all that being said, anything else that I can change, like the audio, the video, the setup, let me know, and I will definitely look into that and work on it. But this is me, and yes, so like I said, we are going to release one a week, and that is kind of all I have about that. I don't really have anything else to touch on that. Now, the length of podcast is going to vary depending upon who I'm interviewing. I plan to keep these anywhere between, let's say, 30 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't think any less than 30 minutes. This is my introduction one, so this is a little bit shorter. But anything after that, expect 30 minutes to an hour. No more than an hour, I don't think, because maybe a little bit more. But I don't plan on going super long. But the biggest thing I want you guys to get from this is knowledge, and I want to help you grow your business. I know, the economy is really good right now for the wedding industry, so we need to take advantage of it, and we need to get as much business as possible and be super profitable, because who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years. We just need to be prepared, and hopefully all this information that I give to you guys will take and run with it and learn something about your industry. And it could be something small that you could be doing. Like I said, I'm going to bring on a lot of people, and those people are going to have a lot of knowledge. And like I said, I am very tired of interviewing or talking to people that know a lot about a whole bunch of stuff and never capturing that information. And then this is the best way to capture that information, is to record it. So hopefully you guys take this information. I would never claim to know everything about everything. I am very good at business. I'm very good at running a business. But marketing, I suck at. Content posting on Facebook, I suck at. I'm not necessarily good, but that's why I'm going to outsource some of those things, and I'm going to learn. That's why I don't outsource it right now, is because I want to learn how to do it first. I know that's kind of weird to say, but it's just how I feel. So I'm going to bring on some social media people that know social media, and I'll learn something from that as well. But I will never claim to know everything about everything. I don't. I know fireworks and I know business very well. Those are my two strong points, and those are the 2 points I focus on. But I'm never opposed to learning more, or if there's a better process that I could be following, or if there's something I can incorporate in my business that other businesses do, then I'm going to do so, just to help myself and my business grow. But that is all I have for today, guys. I really appreciate you listening and tuning in. Stay motivated and excited for more. There's definitely a lot more coming. I have a great couple interviews that I've already recorded that sound really good, and I took a lot of knowledge from them, so hopefully you guys will as well. But yes, as I said before, please follow me on all my social platforms, Dustin L. McGee, and definitely if you are interested in watching me on YouTube, check out my YouTube. That is Dustin McGee. You can follow me there. It's a pretty cool channel. I do a lot of stuff. I not only release these type podcasts on that channel, I also do some entertainment stuff. I'll blow up a whatever. I'll blow up a whole bunch of stuff or just do fire, light things on fire, or something interesting for the entertainment side of things. So if you're interested in that, please check that out. But I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. And I'm not really sure how like the algorithm works on podcasting, but I'm guessing if you give me a good rating, I would, kind of move up in the podcast world. So if that's the case, if you guys can please rate my episode. You don't have to rate this one because I know it's just the introduction one, but if you can rate the podcast, that would feel amazing. If you could just rate it, like I said, you don't have to do this one, but after a few come out, maybe give me a rating, an honest rating. Hopefully it's a good one. If not, at least comment and let me know what I can fix again. Okay. But yes, thank you for your support. For all my friends listening, I know I have a lot of friends that are supportive of this decision of me starting a podcast. Thank you so much for pushing me in the right direction. Thank you so much for, kind of motivating me to do so. And thank you for following along with me through my journey of life. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time.